Pull them belts tight one last time, boys. Light the fires. Showtime.
And the 65th Daytona 500 is underway.
What's up, y'all? With the off week this weekend and the ending of Fox's TV coverage, this is almost a perfect timing for a halfway grading of the 2023 season for all the Cup Series teams. 16 regular season races, the All-Star and Clash, with 20 races to go in the season. I'll be going through the season grades for each team alphabetically rather than ordered by performances. We'll be starting off the teams just like a lineup, from the front. Front Row is a team that has year after year visibly improved their team, and the clear indicator is the improvement of the 38 team. While Michael McDowell and the 34 team sit 19th in the point standings, they were a car that was going to compete for the win with Martin Truex at Sonoma, but a slow pit stop may have taken away one of their 2 or 3 chances of a win away. And even though he sits only 14 points outside the playoff, that's behind an Alex Bowman that missed 3 races and had a 60-point penalty. So in reality, the 34 team must win. But contrary to previous years, if the team hits one weekend, there is the possibility there. In the 38 team, whether it's Zane Smith or Todd Gilliland, the team runs competitive and consistently capable of top 15s, which we haven't seen out of that car before. Front Row's first semester grade is a solid B.
4 wide for 7th.
Excuse me, Byron.
And a big run for Bowman on the outside. They're going to split Truex, and it's 3 Hendrick Chevys to the front. Just like much of the day, around goes Allmendinger, back of the pack, 4 or 5 cars spinning. We stay green as everybody gets out of the throttle. Here they come to the flag. Ooh. William Byron will lead his 175th lap of the day and take the checkered flag in Las Vegas.
Unbelievable.
Race stars. Everybody back at home, thank you.
Heartbreak for the Kyle Larson gang, I'm telling you.
From a fringe second-tier team, we now move to one of the 4 powerhouse teams, Hendrick Motorsports. While the season may end with the 4 drivers where the team expects, the first half of the season has been a major roller coaster. On the good side, nearly every single week a Hendrick car has competed for the win, or had winning speed, and the team is the series-leading 10 stage wins, and William Byron leads the series with 164 stage points. That's half the maximum 330 possible stage points available to this point in the season. Alex Bowman sent second in the series in average finish with a 12th. Byron and Larson lead the series in laps led, and Chase Elliott's worst non-DNF is a 12th. But that'll begin the bad for Hendrick Motorsports. While the team could have 8 to 10 wins instead of the 5 wins the team has, the actual bad news the team has had has been starting the races. Alex Bowman sits 16th in the standings because of the 60-point penalty, but mainly because the 3 races missed with the back injury. Chase Elliott sits 27th in the standings after missing 7 races between the leg injury and the suspension. While all 4 cars sit in the owner's playoff standings, the goal is to have all 4 drivers winning races, and that'll still most likely happen. The fastest team in the garage will receive a grade of an A after the roller coaster first half.
But the one at the front is Martin Truex, looking for his 33rd career victory. Through turn 12, and Martin masters Sonoma. Martin Truex, for Joe Gibbs Racing and Toyota, gets his 2nd win of the season.
Oh, yeah, brother. Oh, yeah. I told you I was lining up. I felt bad for him.
Now for our next powerhouse, Joe Gibbs Racing. Joe Gibbs Racing has had a lot go right for the team. After the season-long Kyle Busch contract situation last season, JGR and Kyle for RCR have had much better seasons this year. Martin Truex Jr. started the season off with a win at the Clash, then completed a brother sweep at Dover. Denny Hamlin and Christopher Bell both have a win, While the team has had speed most weeks, there are times the team isn't as fast as they'd like. And Ty Gibbs is sitting outside the playoffs at 18th in the standings. That's acceptable for the rookie. But as a JGR team, the playoffs is still expected. The Toyota powerhouse gets an A- for the first half of 2023.
But they're going to need more than this, just those two.
Bowman drops to the inside. His teammate Kyle Larson is the first car on the inside.
Now that energy's all broke up now. Now we're going to see the cars coming from behind.
Where's he going to go? They're both going to get to him pretty hard, pretty quick.
All right, Stenhouse gets the white flag. The next flag ends it. 3 wide.
Well, good. You got the help.
Larson tried to go to the middle. Oh, he got turned.
Larson Pastrana in the fence. We are still green. No, the caution is out. And we'll wait for official word on whether Ricky Stenhouse or Joey Logano has won the Daytona 500. The flag, it is not the caution lights. It is NASCAR's decision as to where those 2 cars were when the button was pushed to activate the caution, and Ricky Stenhouse has won the Daytona 500.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Daytona 500 winner.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. winning the Daytona 500 left a lot of fans believing, well, that's a wasted playoff spot. Well, that's a first-round exit. But even past the win of the Daytona 500, Ricky Stenhouse has 6 top 10s this season and sits 14th in the standings, and has run much better at many tracks he hasn't ran well historically. Getting a boost from the Daytona 500 win and the team expectations and the previous results of previous years, JTG gets an A-. Since A.J. Allmendigger's crazy Indy road course win in 2021, the Cup Kaulig team has not had many bright spots. A.J. and Justin Haley sit 20th and 23rd in the standings. But the big indicator and the lack of speed for the team is the team has 5 total top 10s, with only 1 lap led. Neither driver being top 20 in the series of average finish. The team is still in a building process on the Cup side, but the promotion of A.J. Allmendigger hasn't produced expected results yet. The Kaulig Racing team will get the grade of a D. So I could spend a lot of time, or not a lot of time, on the newly rebranded Jimmy Johnson's team of Legacy Motor Club. But without a doubt, the team's move to Toyota next season was in the works either before the season started or early enough that this team wasn't getting Chevrolet support and was missing where they were hitting last season. And the biggest disappointment of this team is they just don't have the speed they had last season. While they may not have been consistent or finishing up front last season, they had a lot of speed. Eric Jones would have speed every week or every other week. They had speed a lot of the time, and this year, not a lot of speed all the time. Our lone F goes to Legacy Motor Club.
White flag in the air, 1 lap to go, sponsored by Credit One Bank.
You're so right, Mike. Good kid, good family. Hasn't been able to close the deal. Been 59 races since he's last visited Victory Lane. Such a fast race car driver. So capable and finally getting it done right here. Bring it around here, boy.
And Byron closing on this final lap to within 0.8 of a second. But off turn number 4, the Coca-Cola 600 belongs to Ryan Blaney.
That's a big one, Tony.
This season has been very up and down of sorts for the motorsports powerhouse of Team Penske. The Cup Series team has 2 wins. Ryan Blaney sits tied 3rd in the points. And surprisingly, Team Penske sits 2nd in the series in stage wins with 5. But removing the spring Atlanta race, where Penske swept the race, you'd start to be really worried. Joey Logano is showing why he's a 2-time champion, as he's continuing to take a 20th place car and then with pit strategy and lucky caution timing, getting stage points and top 10 finishes, like Kansas, Sonoma, or Gateway. But teammate Austin Cindric, who doesn't have the experience to salvage these runs, is finishing where the cars are actually running in the races, outside the top 20, with a 21.9 average finish. Austin Cindric's only path to a playoff berth is a win, And after Sonoma's performance, his best opportunity may only occur at the season finale at Daytona or the return to Atlanta. With the ups and downs of the team, I'll be giving the first half grade of a B for Team Penske. Results are there for Blaney and Logano, but the lack of speed will be points off for not showing your work.
That Richard, man, I'm telling you right now, he ain't taking his eyes off this thing. He don't count them chickens till they hatch.
Chase Briscoe just ahead, 20 cars on the lead lap. And Kyle Busch could pretty much coast it home from here. What may be the final super speedway NASCAR race ever in Southern California
RCR, baby.
goes to Kyle Busch.
That's right. How about you, RCR and everybody?
From Motorsports Powerhouse to NASCAR Legacy, Richard Childress Racing has been a major roller coaster. Speed weeks could have been vastly different, as Kyle could have won his duel and the Daytona 500, but immediately won at Fontana. And then we've seen Austin Dillon struggle at times and get a large points penalty. But Dillon still has 4 top 10s, so he hasn't been atrocious every week. But with Kyle sitting with 3 wins and 6 in the points, if they could get the 3-car going or sneak in a win this season could end up being the best RCR season in a decade. On account of Kyle's 3 wins, I'll give a boost and give RCR a B+ grade. So, technically next up is Ware Racing. And while front and center, the Cody Ware situation is easy to plaster, the team has actually improved, and that's worth noting. And even though Stewart-Haas hasn't been worth a darn this season, that partnership is helping Rick Ware for sure. The 15 team at times isn't in the way, which we used to not say at all. So that team is improving. Hopefully that trend will continue. On to our next team, the Roush Fenway Keselowski team. The team has started off 2023 much better than 2022. While both cars sit in the playoffs at the moment, we will see if that holds out. But the fact that both of those cars are indeed in the playoffs, and the 17 and the 6 have 7 and 6 top 10 finishes, while Buescher won Bristol last fall, the team continued its consistency into this season. And top 10 and top 15 running is something a Roush team hasn't had in nearly a decade. This will give the team a grade of a B+. For our next lower tier team, I'll grade the 2 cars separately, as a 7 car and the 77 car for Spire are on separate budgets and expectations and goals. As a 7 car is Spire's best foot forward, and the 77 is just trying to check off the attendance and get the year-end hand clap. But Corey LaJoie and Spire's 7 team have come a long, long way, and have genuinely challenged to try to become a second-tier team in the series. While a few points penalties and Chase Elliott missing races allowed for an extended time frame of this, there were several weeks that Corey LaJoie was inside the playoff grid on points. And at races like Fontana, Corey and the 7 team had genuine speed. While this season has seen the success and points more spread amongst the teams in the series, this means Corey and the 7 team won't be able to sneak into a last playoff spot on points. They need a win. But the fact he stayed on that page and a manageable 22nd in points is the improvement Spire is happy to be making. So the 7 team gets an A- in the first semester. While Ty Dillon and the 77 car continue to disappoint or just field fill, Spire collectively gets a B-.
Hey, car in the wall off the floor. Oh my gosh. Caution is out. It's Eric Almirola.
So Kevin Harvick's send-off year hasn't been grand, but Kevin and the 4 team get an A. Separately. But Stewart-Haas Racing is in big trouble. And this is an organization that is expected to be elite and just simply hasn't been. Ryan Preece is a great driver and has had 0 top 10s with the team. Chase Briscoe spent the month of May getting passed by Rick Ware cars and BJ McLeod. And then the massive penalty on top of that. After the penalty, SHR cars sit 5th, 25th, 27th, and 31st in the owner's points. The fallen of the 4 powerhouses will receive a first half grade of a C. that being elevated by Kevin Harvick and Rodney Childers' 4 team. The Hail Melon team has come down to earth a bit this year, as the Trackhouse team is up and down in a different way. Ross Chastain has the second most stage points scored this season, as the aggressiveness of Ross has been speed almost all season, while Ross has had 348 laps led and 4 stage wins, prove that the team can bring speed each and every week. But Ross has missed on his opportunities a lot, while teammate Daniel Suarez has been the more consistent but slower teammate. While Chastain sits second in stage points, Daniel Suarez is 15th, while also sitting 17th in the point standings. The good news is the team could turn it up down the stretch, but these missed opportunities and the less speed out of the 99 will give the first half grade for Trackhouse a B+. Now for our oldest team in the garage. We have disappointment. Just disappointment. The second-year driver of Harrison Burton and Penske equipment, no less, just has not performed, trailing Chase Elliott and Austin Dillon in the point standings, which have missed races and suffered points penalties. It's becoming crunch time whether or not Burton is replaced in the 21 car. And front rows Zane Smith and Todd Gilliland provide Ford with massive opportunity to replace Burton, as 29th in the standings after 16 races is just unacceptable. While the team isn't looking foolish or driving into wrecks that became common last season, the bad grade is required. The Wood Brothers team will receive a first half grade of a D.
It's amazing, 23-11, and how fast we're growing and how much we're doing together. It's forward together on this program, and it brings me a little bit to be choked up. I was hoping to be back in that car, but it's in good hands. And it's a great team, and I love racing with those guys.
Reddick running away, second still in doubt. Bowman looking outside for second. And Byron trying to mount a run on Chastain.
What a job Reddick has done today, right, Mike? I mean, have you seen that on a road course in a while?
He's led 40 of the 74 laps. He and William Byron put on quite a show and dominated. But Reddick in the braking zones had the measure of Byron and everybody else today.
He was so fast, he pitted an extra time and still won this race. Still put himself in position. The speed in this car, the job they did, Billy Scott and company, and that kid behind the wheel, pretty impressive.
That is a big nugget to remember, is that they were off sequence, and Billy Scott's like, we have speed, I'm putting you back in with the group, let's take our lumps now. And now here they are.
And through holding these.
Now on to our final team. Denny Hamlin's 2311 Racing is an interesting to make the grading assessment on, as Tyler Reddick suffered awful luck to start the season, then started showing why Denny Hamlin's side in the generational talent, winning COTA and running up front. But the team of late isn't setting the world on fire, as Tyler Reddick and Bubba Wallace sit 13th and 15th in the driver's standings. But the 23 is out of the owners' playoffs, trailing the 9 in the bubble car, the 48 car. Bubba is entering a stretch that doesn't suit him well, but the team can salvage and make the playoffs. Both 2311 cars will be a threat. Bubba had a great May, and Tyler Reddick has had some flash. So our final team will receive a grade of a B.